Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 9 of the ILR Championship. Today you join us in Japan for what should be an excellent session. Sorry about the background noise, that should be fixed relatively soon. Yeah, that's my tumble dryer. It should be off in a moment, so we'll just get all our stuff ready and we can get straight into this qualifying session. So, who's first out then? We got the best tyres out. And look at that, that was nearly a crash already in the pit lane. Don't think anyone was expecting that. Yeah, going a bit weird for Paga today. Yeah, slightly strange. And ahead of it, it's Mealy Mets fan who's going to be first out. And Archie's already retired. Is that due to a qualifying ban? I think it might be. So we'll get down to Mealy Mets fan. They're leading us out of the pits here at the Sakito circuit. Sorry, my remote was having a bit of lag there. Couldn't actually switch the thing. Okay, I'm going to try and have a look at this comment. Bear with me though, I'm trying to sort out. It might be my mic's a bit quiet. So I'll just knock up a bit. That should be fine then. And yeah, see if I can get this comment out. But yeah, it's going to be Mealy Mets fan leading us out. This is the third last round of the Season 5 Championship before F1 2019 gets released in just a few weeks' time. Alright, I'm just blue screen you guys for a moment. Sorry about this. Last to first. Carriage, unfortunately, it looks like Archie's managed to beat you to that last spot. Unless you get yourself disqualified. You never know. Would be interesting. Anyway, yeah, we'll get straight into this. Sorry if I'm a bit down, not had much sleep this week, but it should be fine. Just need to get back into the zone. Hopefully the I think my tumble dryer should be finished in a few moments, so that's not too bad. That's not something we need to worry about too much. But we'll ride on board with Mealy Mets as we go through the Dunlop curves now, I think they're called. Heading into Degner's 1 and 2. Light braking through there, but much more heavy braking. That leads up to the right-hander, which is followed by the hairpin of turn 8, I think. Trying to sort something out, it's not quite working. But anyway, look at those lens flares, they do look quite nice in this game, I've got to admit. But anyway, yeah, we're heading up through towards Spoon now. We're going into Spoon, out of Spoon at turn 14 then. And for some reason, it doesn't appear... Whatever, I give up at this point. Anyway, heading past 130R now, sorry about that, into the chicane. And now this is very easy to cut and invalidate. Scuba first across the line then with the 1:27.0, didn't even notice it left the pits. DRS activated on that spot. Mealy Mets fan half a second, about nearly half a second down. That's Zach taking provisional pole with a 1:26.8. We've also got Kern on a 1:27.4 as well, so just 6,000 slower than Mealy Mets fan. CR7 is out of the qualifying session already. Hopefully we don't see anything like Italy this time round. Well, maybe that is what happened, the way he just literally just went off track. Don't know what happened there. This is Deneen coming through the final turn and now heading across the line. Then it's going to be lost with a 1:29.2, so it's got some room for improvement there. Slenderman going straight back into the pits. Strangely enough, we'll find someone else on track. Skyzoo's out in sector 1, but Gameboys is coming across the line now. And it's going to be a 1:38.5. That's obviously an out lap. And yeah, so we'll watch Skyzy. We'll ride on board with him actually as we head into Degner's of turns 8 and 9. Already out of there. Up through turn 10 into turn 12, uphill braking. It's very easy to lock up and go wide there. Got to take a late apex. I think a bit too late there from Skyzy actually. But he's going to continue on towards turns 13 and 14, known as Spoon. Very famous term. Spoon curve. You want to maximise your exit out of here because you want to get that speed down this straight. For some reason there's no DRS along here, so you're going to have to utilise all your ERS, all the ERS that you can. Ahead there were yellow flags from that car going slowly, but now going through 130R now, very much flat out here. That's Paga letting Skyzy through, then into the chicane of turn 16 and 17, which leads through to turn 18 and back out onto the straight. Across the line, it's going to be lost there with the 129.7, but we've got ILR3 Matter, who's not going to be far behind. He's in sector 2, heading up towards Spoon Curve now. And finally, I can turn up this mic volume, so just give me a moment and I make sure it's all good. Here we go. Sound and devices. There we go. In fact, that should be fine. Alright then. Yeah, there we go. We can get back into this qualifying session, and now I can sit back and relax this because I had to lean forward there, trying to keep the mic volume low as possible, trying not to pick up that background noise. But here comes Matter across the line. It's going to be very slow from him. A 132.5, must have made a mistake there. Although no, he is on the mediums though, so got to give him the benefit of the doubt. The two Toro Rossos then at the back of the grid so far, apart from CR7 and Archie, due to their DNS from the session. I think Archie might have a qualifying ban, I'm not entirely sure. Here comes Flexi then up towards 130R. Where's Slenderman in relation to him? Oh, those two are both in the garage, so it's just Flexi yet to set a lap time who's out on track. He's really extending those track limits. Not quite enough to get invalidated though. Then through the chicane to the final turn. What kind of lap time we're going to see here? A bit of overseas saw from him, and it's going to be a 131.0. So that's a decent lap time. He is on the mediums, not quite as fast as Corey, who set a very good lap time there with the 128.3 on his mediums. And we've got other drivers on out laps as well as on track. This is Norman's. He's on a hot lap, but he's going, I think this might even be an out lap actually, so across the line he's going to start going for one. Who else have we got on track? Matter, is he going for another lap? I don't think so. Flexi might be. He is on the mediums, although it does sound like he's short shifting quite a bit there. We've got Game Boys here in Sector 1. So we'll watch Lawman's because he's going to be the first of these few drivers. And I'll have a look at these messages I've got on the old thing. I've missed so much stuff. Some pictures. Oh yeah, some people have quali bans. I think that's what's happened to CR7 as well. So yeah, I can't actually load any photos that have been sent to the group chat, but this is Lawman's then. He's coming through Spoon Curve now, using those curves. The curves aren't too bad around this track though. They aren't that high, so you can get away with using them quite a lot here, which is always good for the drivers. And look, you can see that both LR drivers in the Force Indias right next to each other out on the grid. But will it stay like that is the real question. Because currently they're on different rows, and I'm going to probably have to blue screen you again just to have a look at these comments. But first is Deneen across the line. It's going to be 7th for him with a 128.6, but those are some very warm mediums. That's probably just a banker lap as well. And at this rate he's going to be starting on those tyres, and that's Game Boys going into the pits. That's Hushrav in Sector 1, Deneen's also in Sector 1. Who's in Sector 2? We've got Matter and Slenderman, so we'll go and watch the Matter because he's heading through Spoon Curve now. Oh, that's big oversteer actually. Oh, sorry about that. And he's off track. Is he going to keep it out of the barrier? Just about. That could have ended a lot worse. That could have ended his session, in fact. It was not great for him. And here comes Mealy Mets fan through the chicane. And across the line, it's going to be a decent lap, I think. This is a new camera angle, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be second for the Renault. Good lap time there with a 126.9. Didn't expect that, so we'll go down to Kern as well because he's just coming across the line now. It's going to be a 127.0, just missing out on those 126s, and 1.1 tenths off Mealy Mets fans' lap time there. And I'll have a look at these comments quickly. I say quickly, but not really. yeah, we do only have 18 people. We were waiting for Schumacher, but he doesn't appear to have arrived on time. Who's on a lap then? We've got Slenderman coming through Spoon Curve now, so we can watch him. Keep an eye on these lap times on the left, though, because they could all change. Zach, he's faster so far, and he's only ever actually done 1 lap this session. I think he's going to stay like that, and in fact, the mediums are looking faster than the softs, although that might just be down to driver skill rather than the tyre compound themselves. I'm not entirely sure though. Here comes Slenderman then, across the line. It's going to be 12th with a 1:29.0. So a decent lap time there, ahead of Skyzy now. And we can have a look at the other drivers. We've got Deneen here in Sector 1. He's not on a hot lap though. Have a look at Corey. Corey is in Sector 2. This is Sector 3. CPI Silas. I think he's about to start a lap. No, he's about to end his lap. Going into the pit lane there. There's Cohen going into the pit lane as well. We've got Scuba though. He's rocketing up through to turn 11 of the hairpin. He's not even gunning for it though. He's on these 0 ERS mode. So something might have gone wrong this lap, or it's an out lap. I'm not entirely sure. This is Corey then. He's about to start a lap. Who else is out on track? Deneen, I think he's about to come back in. Not entirely sure. Down the order we've got Slenderman though. Slenderman not on a hot lap. Is Skyzy? I think he might be. It's not entirely clear. Is Flexi? Flexi definitely is. He's not too far behind Skyzy. So we'll keep an eye on these 2 drivers here then. And while we're here, we'll have a look at the championship standings. So right now we have Zach leading the championships on 109 points. So just the 3 points behind him is Corey on 106. 5 points behind him is CR7. So it is all quite close in those top 3. It's all to play for. Then we've got Scuba in 4th, Seb in 5th. In 6th we have Silas. 7th Mr. Costa. 8th Massa. 9th is Carriage. 10th is Paga. 11th is Cohen. 12th is Slenderman, and that is Skyzy in the pits as well. And you can see Flexi's up into 6th. And just noticed Hushrav is saying his lack of practice is showing. I'm not going to comment on that. And yeah, this is Flexi then. That was a good lap from him. That put him up into 6th on the soft. So he's the fastest runner on the soft so far. This is Corey then heading through 130R now. Where was I? Oh yeah, Mealy Mets fan in 13th, Flexi in 14th, Lawman's in 15th, 16th is Skyzy, 17th is Schumacher, 18th is Broomer, 19th is Archie, and 20th is Game Boys. So Game Boys does need to score just a few points here to try and take himself out of those bottom 2. He needs to score at least 5 points to take himself above Archie. He's only on 2 points right now. Archie's on 6, and Archie's got this qualifying ban, which is not good for him. So CR7 though, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So yeah, that's him in the pits. Now Zach is back out on track. I think he's on some fresh tyres. No, I think he's actually might have just set a lap there, because he's got a 1:26.3, unless he's on an out lap. That's not too clear. We'll go down to Hushrav then. Hushrav is definitely on an out lap. You can tell that by the time in the top right there. Whereas Mata running very wide. Oh, and that's him spinning round, nearly almost off the, well, almost, yeah, he was off track, but nearly into the barrier. That's the second time that Toro Rosso's been facing the wrong way. Was it the same one? I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not going to say anything, just in case I'm wrong. But yeah, that was a big moment for Mata. Maybe running a bit too high ballast, and he's off track again, and he's in the barrier. So just saying, he managed to keep it out of the barrier, and now he puts it into the barrier, which is not good for him. He's not going to be happy about that. And yeah, that's maybe those cold tyres or something, or just a bit too high ballast. We're not entirely sure. We've got Hushrav then. I'll have a quick look at this comment while I can. I have no idea whether to start on the mediums or the softs. I'm going to be honest, I don't play this game enough at all. And Mr. Costa, I think. Oh, White Tiger. Sorry. Yes, it's Hershrav. He's heading towards 130R now. He's on an hot lap in the Williams. Was asking if he could take the Ferrari, but he's been told to stick to his Williams. Sam has done 3 laps of practice, so he's quite happy with P6 right now, and he's faster. He's the fastest of all the softs on track right now, and across the line, Hershrav doesn't look like he's going to improve there. Then Emilio Metzvan, on the other hand, heading up towards 130R, who's on a hot lap even. Here comes ILRT Mata to start a lap. This is Mr. Skyzy very much cutting it through the first Degners and going a bit wide through the second Degners as we run towards turn 11 then. That was strange. Sorry, Discord's giving me weird notifications. Anyway, there's yellow flags in Sector 3, and that's where we're just about to go with Skyzy, so I don't know what the cause of that is. We'll have to wait and see as he comes through here. Now, Carriage really does need to set a lap, unless he's got a quali ban. Because I'm not entirely sure who has quali bans and who doesn't. But what I do know is Mr. Skyzy should improve here, considering he's on the soft tyres rather than the mediums, which he set his first lap on. Through the chicane then, you want to maximise your speed on your exit. I think he may have gone a bit slow on the exit there. Across the line, it's going to be a 1:32.3, so he's actually 2.5 seconds slower there on the softs. Maybe making a mistake there, that would explain it. Here comes Lawmans then, through towards Spoon Curve. But first we have to go through this fast, flat out right hander. Then a bit of braking, taking a gear 5 through here, lifting off again for the second apex before opening up onto the straight. Hershrav retiring from the session. He's in 5th, so it's not too bad. Yellow flags in sectors 1, 2 and 3. What's gone on here then? There's a car off the track to the left. I'm not entirely sure who that was. That's Hershrav out of the session, and that's caused yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2. So that's not something anyone was expecting. He's dropped down a position. Someone's moved up into that top 5 then and knocked him down. Lawmans, he's on a 1:27.8 right now. Here comes Silas across the line, and that's ending his session. Paga then heading into the chicane. Bit of oversteer, but he managed it quite well. Wheel spin as well on the exit. Oh, has he managed it well enough? He's on the grass. That could slow his run. He's gone slower there by... No, he's improved by 600ths, but it's not going to be enough. Emilio Metz fan there then. So Zach will be one of the last to cross the line. That's Corey actually letting other drivers through. Here comes Scuba. He's on a hot lap. There's yellow flags in sector 3. Obviously, other drivers letting each other through. Bit of a shuffle around in the order at the bottom. I think Silas may have improved. Here comes Scuba then. What kind of lap time can he set here? He's heading up towards... Oh, that's where I broke the game actually one time. So that was quite entertaining. And I was featured in Into the Barriers video, no less. I was very proud of that. But anyway, heading up towards 130R. I'll see if I can get the comments up on electronic device. Otherwise, we'll just have to stick with going to the blue screen. I think might be in luck here. Don't want to jinx anything quite yet. Here we go. Come on. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I did think Carriage had a quali ban. So, Scuba, there we go. And that's pretty much everyone finished. And the finishing order then, qualifying order. First will be Zach. Second will be Corey. Third is Scuba. And the two Renaults side by... Well, not technically... Side by side, actually, they'll be on different rows at the start. Millie Metz fan retiring from... But the AI is controlling her. That makes no sense. Anyway, we can get straight into this race then. That's Lawmans in 6th. So the qualifying order will be as follows in just a second. Not sure if you can hear the monumental whir of my PlayStation in the background or not. But here we go. It's going to be Zach on pole, followed by Corey and Scuba. Then it will be Mealy Mets fan, Cohen, Lawmans, Hushrav, Flexi, Paga, Silas, Slenderman, Deneen, Game Boys, Skyzy, Matter, CR7, Carriage, and XD Archie. These bottom three having qualifying bans. And look at that, Matter really off the pace. He's 6 seconds slower than the fastest lap time, so he's not going to be too happy about that. Yeah, we go then. Sorry if you can hear my mic being rocked. I'm just adjusting its position. But we can get ready. So Haas is actually leading the Constructors' Championship by a fair amount. They've got 56 points ahead of Mercedes. Then it's Ferrari. Then Williams in 4th. That's not something you'd see in real life. Then it's Sauber, Force India, Renault, who's tied with McLaren, Red Bull, and then Toro Rosso. With just 3 races to go. So next week it will be USA. And then the week after it'll be Brazil. So this should be quite interesting. Towards the end of the season, it's not entirely clear who's going to win. It could be Corey or Zach. Or even CR7. If you look at the championship standings right now, it's anyone's game. CR7 just needs to get 9 points ahead of Zach to be leading the championship. So it's any man's game right now. And it's going to be green lights as we start with the formation lap. We'll get our stuff nice and ready on the right here. It should be interesting. So it's going to be Zach, followed by Corey, then Scuba, Milu Mets fan, Cohen, Lawmans, Hushrav, Flexi, Paga, Silas, Slenderman, bit of moment there, Deneen, Game Boys, Skyzy, Matter, CR7, Carriage, and Archie rounding off the grid then. Let's get ready for what should be a good race. We've got 27 laps to go here. And that was the sound of my iPad hitting the floor. So a great start for me. And I'm the commentator, so might be quite interesting into turn 1 just because of how downforce heavy it is. And we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So the track elevation changes, it's got quite a big difference. It's about 40.4 meters, say about, there is 40.4 meters of elevation change around this track. The lowest point being between turns 1 and 2, and the highest point being after turn 14. So basically the exit of Spoon Curve is the highest point on track. There's quite a lot of elevation change around this track anyway. It dips and dives all over the place if you look at the little map thing I've got going on here. But then Zach, he's in gear 5. He's warming up those tyres. He's got quite a big gap to Corey behind him. There's 3 seconds. So that's just going to be 3 seconds he's going to be stuck on the grid for. You can see the famous Ferris wheel? Yeah, Ferris wheel in the background as we come through the final turn. Matter being disqualified from the session pretty much immediately. Here we go then for the round 9 season 5 of the ILR3 championship start. The drivers lining up on the grid. It's going to be a good one. I can feel it tonight. We've just got the Williams of Archie lining up on his grid slot. He'll be starting on the softs. Just get our stuff ready. I think this will be a good place to watch it from. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Out and away we go here in Japan for round 9. It's going to be a decent start from the McLaren. Flexi going down the inside of one driver. Hushrav looking down the inside of Cohen. It's going to be side by side as Mealy Mets fan going down the inside of Scuba. Hushrav having an excellent line there. Cohen's got run wide. And look at this, Mealy Mets fan's gone a bit slow, and that's going to go onto the gravel, and that's going to cost many places, and that's dropping her all the way down to P9. And look at these drivers scrambling positions through the Dunlop curves. Slenderman side by side now with Deneen. Look how close it is. He's forcing Deneen onto the grass, but he's going to hold on to the position for now. We've got Flexi then, he's close behind Hushrav as we go through Degnus 2. Hushrav on the gravel a bit there. That's going to cost him a bit of time. But it's going to cost more time to Lawmans, who's got someone right up his gearbox. And that's Sleepy Osiris going around the outside of the Force India. They're going to have to look out for Paga, who's just behind them though. And a lot of moves being made on this first lap here. And it's not been a great start for the Renault of Milo Metzvan. And yeah, so quite an interesting start though. A lot of drama on track. And this is Milo Metzvan. It's not gone well for her. As behind her we've got Carriage looking right up the inside into 130R. Could we see a move here? I'm not entirely sure. He's going to take a sniff, but will he stick it? No, he won't. He might be waiting for the chicane. That would provide a good opportunity. Down the inside he goes, double front lockup. That's not going to be good for his tyre wear. And look at this train. Zach's in the fast lap with a 131.6. And that is an excellent train developing. There's yellow flags in Sector 3. I think there's been contact. There's a truck car off the track, and that's going to be Paga. And has that been damaged for one of the Force Indias? That has not gone well. And there's virtual safety car. Did the Force India get damaged by that? I'm not entirely sure. Deneen, I think it hit the Force India, but it might have been ghosting at that point. I'm not too sure. That might have some severe implications on the driver's race. But I'm not entirely what happened. Sure, but what happened to Paga there? You could see him just off in the distance. His car just went off track. Must have been contact with whomever he was against. Unfortunately, I missed out on that. That looked like it must have been quite a big shunt to send him round that badly, and to bring out the virtual safety car along the main straight. I'm pretty sure this is a real race. They'd have brought out the main safety car. The cars would be going through the pit lane. But yeah, we saw some debris off in the track right at the start of the straight, and then up ahead he was facing the wrong direction. So very interesting. That'll be one for the stewards to look over. And we're green again. CR7 is going to be moving around the outside of Slenderman into Spoon Curve. He might be making a move down the inside. Yes, he does. Can he hold on to this position? No, he can't. Under braking, Slenderman now breaks him, but he's run wide off the track. And that's going to give CR7 the opportunity to try and look it down the inside. He's not going to be able to quite make it on the exit though. He's got the slipstream to aid him. He won't have the DRS, but he has got the ERS. He's going to move to the inside as we go towards 130R. Of course, Slenderman on the softer tyres, so in theory he has got an advantage. Slenderman's off the track. Will that cost him a position to Deneen as well? CR7, of course, taking that position there due to the McLaren running wide. And back, we've got Milo Metzvan with a bit of a battle behind Skies up ahead though. Look at this. Slenderman right up the gearbox of CR7 as we go towards turn 1. He's going to move to the outside at the latest possible time. That's a 5-second stop-go penalty for Lawman speeding in the pit lane, so there must have been damage for that Force India then. I did not expect that as we move towards the Dunlop curves with the S's and then the Dunlop corner right at the top. And that's Flexi in the gravel with major front wing damage. That's another time someone's gone off in the S's this race. Flexi's retired from the sessions. That's 2 DNFs, leaving just 16 drivers out on track. What a hectic start to the Grand Prix then. I don't think anyone was expecting that because they've got Milo Metzvan right up the back of Mr. Skies. Ahead it's Denina and Slenderman as we head through turn 11. There's yellow flags in sector 1. Is that... I don't know what's caused those yellow flags. But anyway, we'll get back up to some action. I think Milo Metzvan might be providing us with that in just a few moments' time. Through Spoon Curve. On the exit, it's going to be just 2.5 tenths of a second. They're opening up the throttle now, and the run into 130R. Slenderman in at P8. And I don't think Paga's going to be too happy with that. Milo Metzvan could be making a move here. Down the inside, not quite. Zach's setting the fastest up with a 131.1. Hushrav and Cohen out of the race. What's going on here? Everyone's going out on the straight. Absolute carnage here. And that was some evasive manoeuvres having to be made by Milo Metzvan, leaving just 14 drivers out on track. Can we lose any more at this rate? Look at that. Silas and CR7. Bit of a moment there from CR7 as we go through the S's. It's going to be very close. And he's going to move down a position. CR7 with an excellent start. He's made up 10 positions. He's on the gravel. And that's going to give Deneen the opportunity to try and get it past through Dunlop corner. Not quite. There's the yellow flags in sector 1. And that's Milo Metzvan. No. There's Carriage off track. No, who's it off track? I can't tell. Milo Metzvan is. There was someone else. Was that Corey, I think, as well? Has he got front wing damage? It looks like he might. Absolute scenes. Skyzy getting a time penalty. Deneen having a look around the outside of CR7 as CR7 tries to send it down the inside of Slenderman into the chicane, into the hairpin of turn 11. What a start to the Grand Prix. We're just 4 laps in. And look at that, down the inside goes CR7 on Deneen, and that's a 5th position for the Haas. Corey getting a 3-second time penalty. Loads of drivers extending track limits here then. We've got Archie who's close to Corey as we go towards 130R. It's going to be close. But I think what we really want to have a look at is Deneen on CR7. No, we won't. We'll have a look at this because it's going to be side by side into the chicane with the inside line for Archie for the second part. Can he hold on to onto the straight? It looks like he can. Number 66 ahead of Corey. Corey going into the pits then. Those super softs really not making it very far. Now carriage on Skyzy. He might be looking to make a move down the inside. That's Corey speeding in the pit lane. 5-second stop go. Skyzy's run a bit wide and that could give Carriage the opportunity. He needs to get past. But we've also got Slenderman on CR7. Bit of oversteer for them. He's had to back out a bit there. Look at that. Big slide. Can he hold on to it? Just about. Wow, I'm losing my breath here. There's so much to commentate over and it seems I've forgotten how to breathe in. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, and that's another person off track. That's Silas in the barrier. Front wing damage. How many people are going to go off? And that's going to mean CR7's in a podium position right now. And he's gained 13 places since the start of the race. He had a grid penalty. And that is proof you can overtake in league racing. Because look at that. Carriage and Archie making up 10 positions. Sky's making up 8. It's not been good for Corey, Silas or Lawman. So they're the only people to have lost positions. Millie Metz found out of the race. And there's only 13 runners left then. I don't think anyone was expecting as much carnage as we're seeing right now this evening. And look at that Slenderman close behind. And that's Silas getting ahead of Matt into the chicane. Not quite able to make a move there. Bit of a lock-up from ILR3. And that's Carriage losing positions to Skyzy. They side by side. The wheels banging. Look how close they are. And it looks like Carriage is going to be ahead for now. But can Skyzy try and make a move into turns 1 or 2? Doesn't quite look like it. I think the Dirty 8 is not going to be aiding him there. And look how close Deneen is to Slenderman. I'm going to just make sure my mic volume is alright. But anyway. That's Lawman's at the fastest lap with a 1:30.9. Corey out of the race as well. Leaving just 12 runners. What spectacular scenes here. Lap 6 of 27. Not even a quarter of the way here if my maths is correct. And we've just had so many DNFs. I don't think anyone was expecting it on quite the scale of this. So, yeah. Rather entertaining start to the race. I think you'll have to agree. You don't really have much choice. Skyzy getting a bit of heat from Media Mets fan in the chat. The ILR3 chat on Twitter. Now then, Deneen, these gaps are beginning to spread out now. As Silas is off track, I want to say. I don't know, he just lost the position to Lawmans. I think he might have been. His tyres don't look dirty though. So, it's not too clear. But anyway, what a start to the Grand Prix. And that's Carriage in the pits then. As Zach is extending a lead and a half here. He's already 10 seconds clear of CR7. That's pretty much half a pit stop. So if he can hold on to this for another 14 laps, for another 7 laps, he'll have made it half of the distance. And he'll be a pit stop ahead. Hirschrad's leaving the session there then. And yeah, just 12 runners left at this point in the race. I don't think anyone was expecting it on quite this scale, I will be honest. It has been an intense first few laps, and now it's all beginning to calm down. As we head into Deckners, a few knockouts here and there as Deneen tries to trail break through the second Degners. Now he's close to Slenderman, but behind him is also Carriage, so you have to be looking out for that. And I'm just going to let this play out and go and get a drink. I'll be right back. I don't think I've missed any major drama here, but Carriage is close behind Deneen. Just gonna sort out my chair. There we go. Look at that. Carriage is just 3/10 behind. And we'll have to be keeping an eye out on that battle then, because that will close up in the next few laps. In fact, actually it's extending due to the dirty air, the nature of the dirty air around this circuit, just because there's so much downforce around here. It's really affecting their speeds through these high-speed corners, such as the S's. There's the yellow flags in Sector 3. What could be the cause of that then? I'm not entirely sure. I can't see anyone quite off track. Having a look at the timings. Oh, I think that's Matter, actually. I'll have a look. Has he got damage? I'm not entirely sure, because he's staying out on track. We can go back up to this battle then of Carriage, trying to gain on Denny. I'll blue screen you quickly just to have a look at this comment. Unfortunately, I'm not sure, nor did I see what happened really, or if I did, I'm too tired to remember. A bit of a lock up there from Carriage, so I'm just going to stay out of that one. It's unfortunate it happened, but these things happen in racing. I mean, it's not been the cleanest race this evening, you have to admit, so I think everyone's going to be venting their issues to the stewards later this evening. The yellow flags in sectors 1, 2 and sectors 1 and 2. Who's off track then? Not entirely sure, but we head through the S's now. Silas is currently in last. Who's pitted then? So everyone from 7 down apart from Game Boys. 5 seconds stop go for Lawman's speeding in the pit lane. That's his second stop, I think. Now then we can have a look here, because Carriage is closing up on Deneen as we go towards the hairpin now. Yellow flags in sector 2. And I'm not entirely sure what the causes of those are, unfortunately, but yeah, we'll keep an eye out here. There's yellow flags again in sector 2. There must be some kind of glitch going on. Silas is about to be lapped, and we're only a third of the way through this race. He's only 8 seconds clear of being lapped, and it's not going too well. Look at this now. Deneen and Carriage very close. Silas having to pit again, so he's going to get lapped through the pits. Deneen's run a bit wide on the entrance into the chicane. That's going to give the opportunity for Carriage to try and get a run onto the straight. He's got the DRS, ERS and slipstream. Can he get the position? Is he going to move to the inside into turn 1? We'll have to wait and see. Yes, he is. It's going to be side by side. Red Bull versus Force India. And there's a bit of a lock up from Carriage there, and he's going to have to back off from the Force India there. Oshrav apologising. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a weird race this evening. Lots of DNS, and unfortunately that's going to cut out the on-track battles. Although there is still, you can see all the debris in the gravel set trap on the exit of the final turn, which is quite interesting. But anyway, yeah, I'll keep the gap to leader up for now. Double front lockups for both Deneen and Carriage. Deneen is right up the chuff of Slenderman, but he's had a poor exit there. And on Carriage, can he make a move? Not entirely sure who's going to come out on top here. The Force India close behind the McLaren, but behind Carriage is Carriage quite close. Yeah, I think Hershrav was lagging, and yeah, that was the cause of that. But now Carriage is going to move into the inside of the chicane. There's contact. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like Carriage just got the power down on the exit there, and that's Deneen down to 4th. Yeah, so I think Hershrav's been lagging around all over the place, and that's caused some issues. That might have been what took out Paga, actually. And yeah, it's been a bit of a unfortunate race. Zach's getting another fastest lap, and he's just pitted that Silas out of the race in sector 3. Don't know what the cause of that is then. Anyway, yellow flags in sectors 1 and 3. Skyzy retiring from the session as well. Is that on the exit of the Dunlop chicane? Yes. Oh, Dunlop curve even. Yes, it is. And that leaves just 10 drivers. So all you have to do to earn points to hit drivers now is to finish. It is now just a race of survival. It is survival of the fittest. And I'm going to have a quick look at this comment. I'm looking forward to, I think everyone's looking forward to the release of the next game. It should be a lot better. I mean, I say it should be. I don't know if it will be. I'm hoping it is. Although I'm probably going to miss the first race of one of the first races of all the seasons anyway, because I've gone on the like weekend of the 15th of July or whatever. I'm going away, so I'll probably miss quite a lot of the first few seasons, especially due to the summer holidays and stuff, which is a bit of an annoyance with the releasing time of the new game. And that was Carriage having a look around the outside of Slenderman. I have no idea who's going to finish on the podiums here now, because the order's just been so shuffled up by all of these DNFs. But anyway, yeah, it's a bit annoying at the release time actually of the new game, I think. Anyway, I think this is going to be a race for a lot of drivers to forget. Japan is just so unforgiving. If you get the oversteer, you're going to have to live with it, and there's a high chance you won't be able to live once you get that oversteer. And Slenderman and Carriage had a bit of close one there, because Slenderman did have a bit of a wide line through turn 11, and will he be able to stay ahead of Carriage is the real question. Let's see if I can get the stream up here, and then I'll be able to look at the comments. But into 130R, could Carriage be moving down the inside? It's going to be, it's potential. Carriage nearly taking him out, nearly pitted into Slenderman. That could have been a lot worse than it was. Oh, I've got no Wi-Fi. What do you mean? Slenderman, it has peeled off into the pits then. And speaking of which, we'll have a look at who hasn't pitted yet. So, actually, quite a few drivers haven't pitted yet. Archie getting a 5 seconds stop go. Now, I don't know who's going to finish on the podium then. If you have your predictions, feel free to let me know down below, because I don't think we've seen the end of the DNS. We're nearly halfway now, and we've seen that some of the tires can make it a fair way into the race. Yeah. And yeah, so bit of argument going on now in the chat, I'm gonna say that, about the incident between Paga and Hershrav. I think it was Hershrav was trying to change his fuel mix while battling, and that was the contact. But either way, it's not something you want to see. And drivers just dropping like flies on the league race, because now it's going to be, I think it's going to be boring, but I'm not entirely sure. The thing is with, oh, there goes Carriage into the pits. What's weird about this game is, or these F1 cars, is that when you lock up, it's almost invariably the front tyres that lock up. And that means that you'll understeer, whereas in games such as Project Cars 2, where you sometimes when you brake, you lock your rears, and that can really oversteer. So I don't know, maybe it's just the brake bias is better when it's further forward in this game, but yeah, we never see people locking the rears, and that's causing them to oversteer, or you rarely do anyway. That's what I usually see anyway. Yeah, so some. Oh no, I do not want to make an emergency call. Thank you. That would have been a bit bad, wouldn't it? Ringing the constabulary to my place because I've been crashing so many cars or whatever. Anyway, Bit of a tangent there, but Slenderman is closing behind. Carriage through the Degners is going to be close, I think, between these two drivers. We've yet to see the end of this battle. In fact, it could rage till the very end. As into turn 11, big fat lockup for the Red Bull there. Sounds like this reminds me I should delete the game. And yeah, at least I don't race, so I don't really have to. I almost never actually race in this game. I don't think I've done a proper race for at least a month or two. Yeah, and kind of reminds me I don't do league racing because I just end up one of those faded out names in the bottom left there. That's what would usually happen. But now around the outside goes Slenderman into the chicane. Can he hold on to it? They're side by side. He could be getting the switchback move here on Carriage. If he can get the power down earlier, he will have the DRS and ERS to help him. Will Carriage have the ERS? Yes, he will. So it will just be the DRS and Slipstream he needs to utilise. As he moves to the inside line into turn 1. Carriage going for the outside defensive line. And that's going to be 5th position for the McLaren. And he's going to stay ahead of Carriage for now. So a good move there. The DRS really helping along that main straight. And we're past halfway. Zach has support. And I believe I'm correct in saying he's got a pit stop in hand. Yes, he has. So just Game Boys and CR7 yet to pit now. So it looks like Zach is pretty safe. He's got a 5-second gap behind him to Scuba. And he's within a pit stop of CR7. So he will be able to make up that position. If Carriage keeps locking up like this into that hairpin though, his tyres are going to degrade seriously fast. Although they should make it to the end of the race if the softs made it as far as they did. But into Spoon Curve, we could see a move here from Carriage down the inside. Under braking, he's going to have to back off the McLaren there. You can hear the crowd going absolutely wild. And that was close. Luckily, we didn't see Seb Vettel spin. That wouldn't have been fun. Especially with the amount of crashes we've had so far. Now, Zach setting the fast lap again with a 130.7. He's got some serious pace around here. And that's going to be Carriage moving down the inside into the chicane. He could try and get a switch back here, but it looks like he's got a bit of rotation. That's not going to help him. As he moves to the outside, that is very defensively to the inside there, Slenderman, as they go side by side into turn 1. Bit wide there, and that's going to give a 3-second time penalty to Carriage. He's not going to be lucky for that. Oh, and that was a good save for Slenderman. Speaking of luck, that was the time when he needed it. So Zach has got some support then in the comments. That could have been a very bad there for the McLaren. I'm going to turn up my mic volume a bit now because it's not as energetic as I usually am due to the circumstances of the race, you know. I mean, the race was quite close to being, not that close, but it was potentially going to get cancelled due to the PSN servers being down a few hours ago, but luckily that was resolved quite quickly. So, Carriage saying, not Carriage, Hushrav saying sorry quite a bit now. So he's clearly been involved in a multitude of incidents. And CR7 finally makes his pit stop, leaving just Game Boys, who's yet to pit. When Game Boys does pit, I reckon he'll come out in either 8th or 9th. Sorry, 7 or 8. And he pits now, and it looks like he's going to come out in 7th? No, 8th. Okay. There we go then. So now with all of the pits decided, we'll have a look at the tyres these guys are on. So yeah, CR7 and Game Boy's going on to the late softs with 11 laps left to go. Well, more like 10 and a half. It's definitely the one sort of strategy everyone's using this evening. We've only had one virtual safety car, even though we've had 8 DNFs. So, don't quite know how the games work that out, but we'll let it be. I mean, if there was a safety car, that would be very interesting, I think, on the outcome of the race. There's yellow flags in Sector 3, and that's Mata talk of commentators curse, just talking about the DNS, and that's Matt out of the race. I was saying earlier how all they have to do is finish to get some points here. And Game Boys, if he can finish in a decent place, he might be able to get out of last in the championship and ahead of Archie. Although where Archie is, Archie's going to stay ahead because he's already ahead in the championship by 4 points, and he's ahead on track as well. Zach's taking another fastest lap. Oh, and that's a... That was the car of Matter off to the side there then. I'm not sure how that's not dangerous on the exit of 130R, but we'll let the marshals do their job. I think the car will have been cleared by now. Yeah, it has been. And CR7 getting a time penalty there. So, bit of an interesting one this evening. I don't think it was going to be quite like this. I don't think anyone was predicting the amount of DNS on this scale. I mean, the amount of drivers who are actually left on track is equal to the amount that haven't made it to the half, or pretty much equal to those who haven't made it for the last 10 laps. Which is something that's not that usual, to be honest. Carriage is now 1.2 seconds clear of Slenderman, 1.5 seconds clear now. So he's having quite a good run. Sorry. Yeah, I'm very tired. I got like not much sleep at all last night. So hopefully it's alright though. I'm just gonna make sure the mic volume. Yeah, that's fine. I was just making sure it's all good so you can enjoy the sound of my voice to its full extent. Zach with another fast lap with a 130.6. He's not relenting, and he's on the mediums now, although he is in a lighter car, so that may affect things. And that's going to beat some of the drivers' qualifying times, actually. And this is during race pace. So CR7 actually claims it with a 129.8. It's the first to breach into the 129s. He's, of course, on the softer tyres, so that does explain things, as well as the same or similar weighted cars. Carriage is now building up that ERS. I have to say that camera angle does make turns 1 and 2 look very nice, especially with the pond on the inside between the two apexes. I didn't realise there was a pond there actually until today. So that's always something you find out every day, I suppose. But anyway, I'm not going to pretend like I know much about this track because I really don't. This is not a track I enjoy driving around purely because it's so hard to get. You're either amazing at it or you're trash at it, I find, and I'm just trash at it. Although I won't pass comment on any of the drivers because I feel like that's a bit of a that's some waters I don't really want to go to. So now we've got Zach. He's leading the race, and we can swap down to further down the order. If need be, but you can see to the left there, on the exit of the final turn, there's a load of debris in the gravel trap, so I don't think anyone's going to want to be running over that. Although I believe it's only full damage if it's on simulation. I'm pretty sure you can get punctures from running over debris, so I think the drivers will be fortunate, will be happy to hear that. I'm just turning up the mic volume slightly more. There we go then. So Zach is leading with a solid gap of 10 seconds. He's got some serious pace around here. CR7 could be gaining up to Scuba. Maybe potentially making a move in the closing stages of the race in the last few laps, I think. Because he did just set the fastest lap. If he can get that down to under 4 seconds, then we'll be able to judge. But right now, it looks like he might be able to. He's in third. Yeah, he's got it down. So I reckon CR7, the two Hasses, could be battling it right at the end of the race. It might even be a final few turns thing. We'll have to wait and see. It'll definitely be up to the line though between these two drivers. Yeah, because look at that. No, in fact, it might even be before then because CR7 is gaining at a rate of knots due to his soft tyres, which are 10 laps younger as well. So that's really going to be helping him. Bit of debris off to the left there on the exit of 130R as well. So look at that. Every driver bar Lawman's has gained positions, and CR7 lost to 13, lost to third even. So Carriage looks like he's going to miss out on podium position right now. In fact, he might even finish 5th, depending on if he can get that gap to over 3 seconds due to his time penalty that he received earlier on. And I don't believe there's any time penalties for Slenderman, although I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that. In fact, I'll have a look now. Race director. Carriage has got, yeah, just one, and I believe he's served that stop go. Oh no, so has Slenderman actually, so it's all to play for between those two drivers. Anyway. That is Zach. He's increasing that gap to to Scuba and CR7. The CR7 might be able to gain relatively quickly, because look at that, he's closing up to Scuba. So in fact, we're going to watch him, because this Haas battle might be fantastic. Will Buxton would be proud. Actually, probably wouldn't. That was genuinely awful. Running a bit wide there on the exit of Spoon Curve, CR7. We saw that. Hitting a bit of the turf, but nothing too bad. In fact, so is his teammate Scuba on the run into 130. I don't think you really need to extend your line that much, because you can carry quite a lot of speed through there without having to go full lock or full turn in. So yeah, maybe just running a bit wide. Not entirely sure. I'm not the driver. Might be due to their setup. Might be running slightly lower downforce, although around this track it looks quite high downforce. And you can see along the main straight, they're not even taking it up to gear 8. They're just revving the engine. Yeah, I'll stick with engine. Revving the engine off it down the straights. I mean, to be fair, if you're still watching the stream at this point, props to you. Because I know how it can be, just when there's not enough drives out on track. It can feel pretty monotonous, but I reckon if you stay tuned to the end of the race, we might see something between these two Haas drivers, because there's just 2 seconds in it now. That's been closing down rapidly. I'd say by lap 25 that he'll be making a move. And yeah, so look at that. Three laps, I reckon, before we see any moves here. It might even be within those 3 laps. I don't think next lap, but it might be the lap after. We'll have to wait and see, because CR7 is struggling to get that gap down any further than what it currently is, because he's going to start being affected by that dirty soon. As you can see, although Scuba is losing time to Zach now, so that gap is 1.5 seconds. Could see a move this lap or next lap, although I'm not sure how likely it is to see it this lap. Would have to be quite spectacular. I mean, CR7 will have to be very fast. You can see the fastest lap there. He's got it by quite a margin. And to be fair, Lawman's, he's set a decent lap time. I mean, Game Boy's relatively fast. I mean, his best lap's faster than Scuba's best lap. So if there was a point for that, which there will be in the next game, especially for these drivers in the top 10. In fact, I think me saying that a move here, this lap, was too ambitious might be a bit wrong, because you can see just half a second between the two drivers of CR7 and Scuba. As we go through that hairpin, these tyres the CR7 using will be a lot grippier, and that will really help him, especially on the traction zone there. Now we go through Spoon Curve, he will be able to carry more speed, but at some point those mediums, or Zeno actually, because they're 10 laps older, that's a whole 10 laps that he's going to have to stretch them, Scuba. So he's going to move to the left, trying to stop that slipstream, but it looks like CR7 has got the run as we go into 130R. CR7 taking the lead here. So I was a bit, I wasn't confident in you, CR7, saying you wouldn't be able to make a move until lap 25. You managed to do it in lap 24, so props to you. Good move, and now you're going to be able to pull away. Start potentially closing up to Zach, although there's no way you can get 12 seconds in however many laps, in about 2.5 laps, 3 laps. You have to put in a real push, and I'm not even sure that's possible unless you started using the Hypersofts. In fact, it'd be interesting to see how the Hypersofts would fare here. They probably only last like a lap or 2. But it would be interesting to see how fast they are. You know? That's something I always wonder when, like, what would the hardest C5 compound, or I don't actually know, but like the super hards versus the hyper softs, what would be faster? Of course, with the next game we'll have the different compound system. Cohen leaving the session then. Yeah, but we will have the new tyre compound system with the next game where you have just the softs, mediums and hards. It's going to take I'm still getting used to it, to be honest. I can't actually watch the races. But to be honest, if this race wasn't exciting, hopefully the beginning was exciting. Hopefully the Canadian real-life Grand Prix, which is starting in exactly an hour and 6 minutes, hopefully that will be exciting as the first few laps of this race were anyway. Maybe a few more drivers will stay in, because, I mean, it is just become an endurance race. It's like the 24 Hours of Le Mans. In fact, that is next weekend, and I'm going to miss it. Or this weekend, really. Depends how you look at it, don't you? And the last couple of laps are just about to commence here. Zach leading the race. 25 of 27. Just about 2 2/3 laps to go. And it should be good. Of course, also yesterday was a very long day because I've been practicing for my drama GCSE performance. Yeah, boy. So hopefully that all goes well on Thursday. And yeah, we actually have anyone watching right now. That is what I'm curious to see. And if you are watching, I hope you're enjoying the ramble. If you want me to discuss anything, do let me know in the comments down below. That would really help. I'm running dry of topics. And also, another thing I noticed was in the F1 2019 game, the Mission Win Now sponsor won't be on the Ferrari. So there's just a blank space there, which looks a bit weird. I mean, it works on this game Ferrari because it was already there anyway. So you can just see where the Mission Win Now sponsor used to be, though, in the next game. It looks really weird compared to the real car. Although I really do like the new Ferrari colour scheme with the matte red and grey. An interesting fact is that the teams, like Red Bull's been doing it for a few years, but some teams choose matte colours because it shaves off a few grams. It's slightly lighter than having gloss colours. It's an interesting fact. And also, the zips on the F1 driver racing suits, the actual zip toggles, like, you know how you have your zip, the zip things on the edge of, I don't know the parts of the zips. This is gonna be hard to explain, but like, you know, say you got your jacket, you got the zip all the way down each edge. There's a big black marker on the left there. I don't know what that was. Don't know if you saw that at home. That was a bit weird. Then you've got your little zip that goes down the middle, and then you've got the toggle thing on that zipper. Yeah, that little toggle thing that's usually metal on the F1 driver racing suits. It's actually fabric because it shaves off like 2 grams. Interesting fact, where the rest of that system is metal. Also, the suits take a long time to make, and they are super light because it's all about weight saving, you know, in F1. As well as them being fireproof, they've got a very thin fireproof layer. It's pretty much as thin as a normal shirt, and that can stop fire for 11 seconds, I think. Like, I think that's 1000 degrees Celsius for 11 seconds. I don't know, I was watching the F1 video earlier. But anyway, yeah, what I think would be interesting is we move into the final lap of the race. There's 6-3, and that's Scuba out of the Grand Prix on the final or penultimate lap of the race for him, and that's going to leave just 8 finishers. I did not expect that, and that's right in the middle of the track. Surprisingly, it's not going to bring out a safety car. Probably fortunately as well, because we don't really want to finish under safety car. But look at this, you can see his car just in the middle of the track. And that was a bit of a shock. So that leaves just 8 drivers left in the Grand Prix. But I think what we're going to do is watch Zach as he comes towards the end. What I would love to do though in real life is a 24-hour race, or like on Project Cars. They do have 24-hour races, but the thing is, you can only have 16 people in an online session, and you can't do online driver swaps, which would be absolutely amazing. it'd be like, imagine having it basically an iRacing 24 hours in one, and you can host one whenever you want. That'd be amazing, if you know what I mean. I'd enjoy that so much. There's yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, but here comes Zach towards 130R for the final time this evening. There were yellow flags. I'm not entirely sure why. That might have been Slenderman, actually, because he's behind Deneen by 10 seconds. Didn't even notice that. But here comes Zach to win the Grand Prix here in Japan. Bit of a hesitation there, forgot what it was. He crosses the line to take the checkered flag here at the Suzuka circuit. Then he's going to be followed by CR7. CR7 having an absolute excellent race, getting 14 positions. He started at the back and getting a podium there is good for him. Carriage managing to get a podium, so that's quite a comeback. Because he's had a bit of a bad patch recently. That's going to be really good for him. Now we've got LR Deneen. Carriage got a 5-second time penalty. He didn't serve that stop go then. Deneen coming across the line now, and he's going to stay in 4th. Then Slenderman having to go very slowly there. He had a bit of a moment. Now Archie's going to be close behind. Across the line, Slenderman's got a decent position there, and then it's going to be Archie, who's in 7th. And Gameboy's getting past both of those on the line due to time penalties. That's 5th for him. I said he needed a good finish. And will that be enough to gain ahead? I can't quite remember the point system. And that is Lawman's out of fuel. But yeah, I can't quite remember the point system off the top of my head. But that might be enough for him to get ahead. But that's going to be the top step for Zach today. After quite an end, it's been a long one. The first half definitely more interesting than the last half, but I don't think anyone saw CR7 getting, I was about to say deleted from the race. Pretty much true. CR7 then getting 2nd, and then 3rd will be Carriage. Carriage for the first time in a while getting on the podium. That's Maurizio Riverbeni. He'll be happy about that. Another win for the Ferrari team. Here we go then. Wait, so Game Boy's 10 points. He needed, I think, 6 points to gain ahead, but he's closing up on Archie. He might be able to get out of that last position, but the finishing order is going to be Zach, CR7, Carriage, Deneen, Game Boys, Slenderman, and Archie, followed by Lawmans. And the DNS, which is going to be a long one, is Scuba, Massa, Skyzy, Silas, Corey, Millimetz Fan, Cohen, Hirschrav, Flexi, and Pagger. Usually, this is the point I'd be saying, what a race that was. Oh, look at that Saab from... Yeah, look at that. Saab. But usually I'd be saying, what a race that was. But I think this is just one for all of the drivers to forget, really. It's been... yeah, it's been a bit of a weird race. Don't think many people have enjoyed it. There wasn't too much battling. There was too many DNFs. And, yeah. But I do hope you guys enjoyed that race. It's been interesting, you can't deny that. And I'm not going to bother with trying to get them to do podium interviews anymore, because it just never works. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy that race. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also share the ILR channel as well as the league. If you want to join, you can find the website, InsideLineRacing.com, I believe it is. You can find the link in the description. Yep. I believe it's there. You can also find us on Twitter. Yes, ILRLeague.com. You can find us on Twitter, which is twitter.com/ILRLeague. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Barless, or just search Barless. I'm the top suggestion, because I'm the best Barless. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the race, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.